G'day, Dave here, and we're looking at Matthew chapter 5, verse 27. As we look at this passage, I need to be honest with you. I've been found out. I've committed adultery. The Bible tells me that each time I've lusted after a woman, I've committed adultery with her in my heart. And I know there have been times when I've looked at women in ways that I shouldn't have, when I've fantasized about a relationship with somebody, when my eyes have been distracted and fixed on someone who's not my wife, when I've been watching things on the television or the internet that I shouldn't have been, when my heart has not been in the right place, where I've been guilty of lust, and the Bible says, therefore, I've committed adultery. Now that might seem pretty harsh. You might be thinking, well, if that's the case for you, Dave, then that's probably the case for me as well. In which case that would be a good thing, and we need to understand why. Because the Bible wants us to understand that the kingdom of heaven is not about outward observance of rules and regulations. It's not about being able to tick boxes. Yes, I've never broken that commandment. No, I've always kept those regulations. No, it's about what's going on in our hearts. And the Bible is very clear that we've got a heart problem, that our heart is sick, that it's selfish, that it's preoccupied with ourselves, and that it's a long way from God. And we need help. You see, if you go to a doctor because you've got a few spots on your skin, it may not seem particularly much. But if the doctor discovers that those spots are in fact cancer and left undealt with will kill you, then what you thought may not have been particularly much becomes very, very serious. And Jesus is saying that the state of our heart is a serious thing. In fact, he goes on to illustrate this. Let's have a look at what he says from verse 27. You've heard that it was said, you shall not commit adultery. But I tell you that anyone who looks at a woman lustfully has already committed adultery with her in his heart. If your right eye causes you to stumble, gouge it out and throw it away. It's better for you to lose one part of your body than for your whole body to be thrown into hell. And if your right hand causes you to stumble, cut it off and throw it away. It's better for you to lose one part of your body than for your whole body to go into hell. See, Jesus, I take it, is saying that the state of our heart will determine our eternal future. And he's saying if it's the eye that's causing you to sin, well, get rid of the eye. If it's your hand that's causing you to sin, then get rid of the hand. If it's the internet that's causing you to sin, then get rid of the internet. If it's the television that's causing you to sin, get rid of the television. If it's the woman in your office who's causing us to sin, then get rid of the woman in the office? No. You see, the illustration breaks down. Jesus is using hyperbole here to make us aware of just how important these things are. Gouging an eye out is not really going to solve the problem, is it? Because you've still got another eye. Cutting the hand off is not going to solve the problem. You've still got another hand. And if you do it twice, well, then maybe with no hands and no eyes, that will, no, because the problem's not the external. The problem is in the heart. And Jesus is making it clear that we need a heart change. We need to be transformed by God's Spirit on the inside so that we treat people well. He goes on to talk about divorce in the same terms. He says it's been said anyone who divorces his wife must give her a certificate of divorce. In the ancient world there amongst the Jewish people, it was simply a matter of writing up a certificate of divorce if you wanted to change your wife. He says, but I tell you that anyone who divorces his wife except for sexual immorality makes her the victim of adultery, and anyone who marries a divorced woman commits adultery. You see, the big issue is not whether you've done the divorce the right way. The big issue is whether you're looking for an excuse for serial monogamy, whether you're looking to get rid of one partner and just shack up with another one, whether it's another opportunity for lusting after somebody who doesn't belong to you. Jesus is saying we've got a heart problem of adultery. I know I've got that problem. I suspect that you've got that problem. But it's in knowing that we've got a problem that we can find help. Because Jesus, who's teaching these things, is actually the source of help. Jesus fulfills everything that the Bible has said. He keeps the law of God perfectly. And because Jesus keeps it perfectly, he can substitute for you and for me. Jesus can bear our sin in his body on the cross. And so he can give us his righteousness in exchange for our sin. Friends, we need to realize that God's not interested in outward performance. He's not interested in people who can tick boxes. God's loving to change people's hearts from the inside out. And he loves us so much that he's made that possible through Jesus.